Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Partnership Guys podcast. This is season 2, episode 5, and we're really excited to have you. I am Todd Leonardis, and I'm here with Rob Stolker and Schneider, my partners in the Partnership Guys. And today we're going to talk about how do you know if your partnership is actually healthy? Most partnerships and partners assume that the relationship's healthy. They're making money. They're not trying to strangle each other. But strong partnerships are more intentional, measurable, and maintained than just that gut feeling. So there's a lot of, we'll call it illusion or delusion based on our conversations with our clients that, no, we're fine. Everything's good. We don't need any help. And it turns out they don't know that they need the help that they actually need until you really start digging and asking the right questions that they're probably not asking themselves or each other. Many partnerships appear to be very healthy on the surface. This may be growing, tension might be building underneath without you really noticing it, because sometimes it's a slow boil. And the problems usually start small and just go unnoticed, and that's how they get bigger and bigger. Most partnerships really do not explode. They slowly erode. So, Stephen, what are your ideas of 5 signs of a healthy partnership or 3 signs of a healthy, like, what do you see as a healthy partnership?
Healthy partnerships are really situations where the partners trust each other's intentions. And the way I kind of explain that is that you come to every interaction, you come to every situation with the assumption of trust, with the assumption that your partner has the best interests of the partnership and of the business in mind. If you come to situations with a critical mindset as opposed to a curious mindset, that's a sign that you're not in a trusting environment. That's one thing. Honest communication is really key, and it happens on a regular basis. I mean, Todd and I have been partners for over 25 years, and at this point, it's just the natural thing. But when we communicate with each other, there is brutal honesty sometimes, and that's really critical to having a healthy partnership, is being able to have those honest communications. And this is another thing that we've learned over time, is having clear decision-making authority. Basically, we've talked about decision domains in the past and how important they are. And it's really being clear about who's making what decisions. We've talked other times about how difficult it is to have a partnership when everybody is involved in every decision. And so making sure that you understand that you're in charge of this and I'm in charge of that is critical to a healthy partnership. Healthy partnerships are healthy partner. A sign of a healthy partnership is when both partners feel respected, both partners feel valued in the partnership and in the business. Some of that comes around, by giving each other attaboys, by sharing wins and sharing difficulties and working on things together. But you want to make sure that everybody feels respected and valued. Most importantly, and Todd talked about the slow boil a minute ago, is that any problems that do come up are addressed early and often. Right? Don't let stuff fester. The most healthy partnerships talk about problems early on in the process.
Yeah, that to me is it. Communication is everything. It starts with trust, respect, but then you have to communicate, and you have to communicate with each other. There are going to be things that annoy you, that bother you. The easy path is to kind of let it go, maybe come home and talk to friends or family, loved ones about it. And kind of the answer is let it go, maybe just a bad day, whatever. And then the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But, as you bring those things to other people, they're going to want to support you. They're going to want to support your side of it. They're going to say, maybe things like, I never liked them in the first place, or I never trusted them in the first place. That's not helpful. It's not helpful to talk to outside people in a business way. I went through it, and I know it was, when I was talking, it was just a vent to people, and I knew where they stood in support. My bad business partnership, we couldn't communicate. And the great partnerships I've had, it was all, open, honest, trusting communication. And even after it got bad, it was, let's take a little bit, let's whatever. And we would always come back to the table with a different mindset. It was always, we have to go back to open mindset, and let's reset here, and let's do it together, and an understanding that the best thing for the business is to figure out how we're going to move forward together, and communication is everything.
I mean, there's some clear warning signs of an unhealthy partnership. To your point, avoiding those difficult conversations, letting those molehills turn into mountains, and also scorekeeping over effort or even compensation at that point, if that's not equitable. So what are some other warning signs you guys have seen through our journey with our own partnerships, as well as the people that we've been helping to strengthen their partnership?
I mean, that scorekeeping thing is huge. I mean, that's a huge red flag when you're trying to see if you did better than your partner, right? It doesn't matter. You're in this together. And so, when you start in your own mind talking about, my wins and my losses versus our wins and losses, that's huge. Another thing is really just delaying decisions or second guessing decisions. All that does is just create resentment and criticism in the relationship, in the partnership. And, that just leads to a downhill spiral where you start to lose trust very quickly in your partner. And, feeling misunderstood, right? If I'm trying to get a point across and you don't understand what I'm saying, or you assume things about what I'm saying instead of trying to ask curious questions about what I'm talking about or what I'm trying to do, that's going to erode trust. And I'm going to feel unappreciated. And very quickly, I'm going to stop communicating and stop sharing. It leads to resentment.
We're human. I mean, you need some affirmation sometimes. You need to feel like you're appreciated sometimes to carry this burden of running a business and dealing with everything that we deal with. It's critical that the one person you should be leaning on the most lets you know when you're doing things right, or when you're doing things well, or when you're seeing a lot of extra effort. It's just, you want people to know that they're appreciated. It goes unsaid many, many times. And it's really important to be purposeful and aware of that. Dude, how many times when we walk in, I'll walk in your room and be like, that's awesome. Like, thank you for doing that. Thank you for covering, because I have all this stuff this week, or whatever it might be. And it's been key.
And there are times throughout the day when, if I haven't talked to Todd for a couple of hours for whatever reason, I'll just pop my head into the office and say, how are things going? Just to kind of keep that line of communication open. Silence is never a good thing. You always want to have that line of communication open.
Yeah, it's what drew me to, what you guys and your partnership and the way you've handled your partnership over decades. It's truly amazing to hear you guys talk, for me to read the playbook that you wrote for all the different things. There's so many different aspects to running a business, and we always talk about how great it is to do it with somebody else. But having said that, all the different things, marketing, sales, people side of it, there are different ways to do things. And it all comes back to staying aligned. So even the people who are reaching out, maybe just one area, maybe it's just, we just have different visions when it comes to marketing. Well, let's just openly communicate with trust and respect, and we're going to figure it out. And quickly, we're going to get on the right path, and you're going to have a better marketing plan than you've ever had before as a partnership business. And it's always come back to what partners want is the best thing in the end, the best thing for the business. This is a business, and what's best for the business should win out. And getting aligned, communicating, creating those decision domains, sticking to it, having constant communication, updating what you're doing. It's everything, because it'll slip. You won't even see it, and all of a sudden it'll have slipped.
Yeah, resentment is usually the first warning sign, and silence between partners is never a good sign. Just isn't.
And the things that we talk about, or the phrase that we use all the time, is the best partnerships are the ones that are built by design and not by default. Most partnerships are built by default. And the way you build a partnership by design is regularly asking yourself and asking your partner, various kinds of questions. Like, am I trusting my partner's intentions? Right? Do I trust what they're trying to do? Am I supportive of what they're trying to do? Asking things like alignment, asking about things like alignment. Are we aligned on our goals? Are we aligned with what we want to do. And it's really easy to make assumptions about what your partner is doing and what they want to do and where they want to go with the business. But it's critical to ask those questions out loud, to really sit down and talk about those things. I mean, we sit down on a monthly basis and block out a few hours to work on the business a little bit, but it's more about working on the partnership. It's more about making sure that we're all moving in the same direction, because it's a multiplier effect. As a solo entrepreneur, you can go as fast or as slow as you want, right? But in a strong partnership, we don't have to work as hard. We don't have to move as fast, because the work that we're doing with each other when we're aligned multiplies, and we go much faster and have much more success in those areas.
Yeah, to me, it's even the communication between the three of us of if there's a difference of opinion or whatever, it's open out there and discussed. Honestly, there's no, that I know of, at least, there's no me going to Steven and saying, hey, we believe what Todd said today, and it's me looking right at Todd and saying, hey, did I hear that right, or is that really what you think? Whatever it is, nope, all good, we're moving on. Just the little things that kind of build up in your head and whatever it is that are not openly communicated to that partner directly, if you just let it go and let it go and let it go, and at the same time, when you can openly get it out there, discuss what's bothering you, what's frustrating you, what excites you, what you love doing, what you don't like doing, what you're happy about here, what you're not happy about here, when it all can be put on the table with the trust that everybody has each other's and the business best interest in mind, that's where the 1 + 1, you guys say 5, I say 50, and then the 1 + 1 + 1 is 500. It's multiplied that much more, starting with the communication energy. I know the things that we're doing are going to help partnerships everywhere forever. And that, to me, is what means something of what we're doing here and what we can do together, the three of us, is support and build the right partnerships everywhere. It's not easy, but it takes time, thought, and the things that you guys have been working on for 20-something years and put together in your book.
Big secret is that it takes awareness. You have to be aware that you need to work on your partnership. We've talked to so many people that don't even think that it's important or that it's a thing to work on their partnership. And it's critical. It's really important. And it doesn't take a lot of time and it doesn't take a lot of effort. But if you don't work on your partnership, you're going to kill your business. So, just healthy partnerships, ask questions. They work on the relationship. They don't just work on the business. And when you start asking those questions and start to evaluate your partnership, it's amazing how quickly things can turn around.
Yeah, you can't improve a partnership that you don't evaluate. And healthy partnerships measure the relationship, not just the business. To your point, the business is important. As business people, we know what we need to do. It's really the foundation of that business needs to be the partnership. Because a strong business partnership, it just doesn't happen by accident. It's got to be something that you're continually working on, like we do. And it's paid off, in spades. I mean, it's been an awesome experience. We've had more success than I think we ever would have dreamed of, and we are really looking forward to the future. I mean, even after 25 years, we're talking about the future. We're talking about the next 10, 15, 20 years, working through the rest of our careers together, and it only being better then than it is now. It's just, it's a fun process. It's a rewarding process. And we're really hoping that some of this helps you guys to see that you need to evaluate your partnership and some red flags and warning signs to do that. So I want to thank you guys both for coming in, and looking forward to having another conversation. This is another solid one. I love these, and I love being able to share them with people. Thank you again. This was episode 5 of season 2 of the Partnership Guys podcast. Todd Leonardis. This is Steve Schneider, Rob Stolker. Please find us on YouTube and subscribe, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or at thepartnershipguys.com. Thank you.
Guys. Thanks, everybody. What's up, guys?
20 years.
Yeah.